Hello, it's me, Pee Pee Poo Poo Man, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my piercing horror stories. One of my piercing horror stories. Let's just jump right into it. Last time, on my last video, I was talking about TikTok piercing fails. I had a lot of fun with that. I got very grossed out. I really enjoyed making those videos. I thought they were really fun. I'll be making more. In that video, I talked about the time that I had a piercing horror story. I didn't go right into detail, but today, on this video, I'm gonna go right into detail. As I mentioned before, I'm kind of bad with timelines. I'm kind of bad with like remembering like when exactly it happened, but I do remember sort of like around the time that it happened. I was working at Dairy Queen, so I was a teenager. I was either 18 or 19, and I can't remember if I got this done when I ran away from home, because I ran away from home when I was 16, but also I can't remember if I got this particular piercing done after I graduated high school, and I graduated high school when I was 19. So I can't really remember. Who knows? But I was a young buck. I was like a teenager, and I got this piercing. So when I was working at Dairy Queen, I was really into like the scene. I was really into like the scene queen like sort of style. Me and my friend Kayla, we were obsessed with like scene culture. We thought it was really cool, really brutal, really rad, and we wanted to get really unique piercings. We like I wonder if I can find it, but we would always like draw ourselves and then like draw what kind of piercings we want, and then like we would dye our hair and all sorts of things after we worked a shift at Dairy Queen. We found out about these surface piercings. They were called back in my day, they were called microdermal implants. They were called microdermal implants, but they're surface piercing. They're just a single point surface piercing. So what they do is like they take a biopsy punch, they punch a hole into your skin, and then put a piece of jewelry in there. Surface piercings aren't super popular anymore. People still get them in the middle of the forehead or like at the nape of their neck. I haven't really seen any chest ones unless it's the sternum. So we were really cool and trendsetters back in the day. Anyways, we were working a shift at Dairy Queen, and this guy comes in. He was really heavily modified. Like, he had lots of piercings, lots of tattoos, and I think he had a surface piercing on his hand. Really dumb. He had a surface piercing on his hand, and me and Kayla immediately were just like, whoa, he looks freaking cool. Let's go talk to him. So we started talking to him, and then I was just like complimenting him, like, your piercings look really cool. And then like we were just chatting with him, and he was just like, actually, I do all my piercings myself. And I was like, me and Kayla like looked at each other and we were like, whoa. I do all like this emo man going into Dairy Queen to chat with the teenagers. And like he's just like actually moves his emo bang to the side. I did all my piercings myself. You guys look like you're into piercings. And I was just like, yeah, I want to become a piercer one day. And he was like, oh, cool. And then I was just like, I really want to get these piercings, like the one that you have on your hand, but like right here on my chest. And he was just like, oh, cool. And then Kayla wanted to get her lip pierced. And then he was like, I could totally do that. And then we were like, really? And then he was just like, yeah, just let me know what kind of jewelry you want and I can order it, and then like let me know a time and I can like bring you guys over. And then we set a date and everything, and then I was just like, how much is this gonna cost? And he was like, well, I want like a box of dilly bars. Just a box of dilly bars. So I traded Dairy Queen for a piercing, but the story doesn't end there. So the day comes, me and Kayla are super excited. The guy comes to like Dairy Queen. Let's call him, what's a good emo boy name? Hey Google, what's a good emo boy name?
Here are more of our favorite goth baby boy names. Here are the first 5. Resner, Draven, Draconia, Blaze, and Damien.
Let's call this guy Damien. Damien comes in, he picks up his box of dilly bars, and then he was just like, okay, I'll see you guys after work. I live super close, so here's the address. And then we were like, oh, okay, cool. So we're going to like a place. It's probably fine. It's probably legit. It wasn't. He picks up his dilly bars. I'm like dying thinking about this story. Like, how mad would you be if you were a parent and then you're like, kid trades food for getting a piercing in some dude's basement? How mad would you be? How mad would you be? Damien gets our numbers, we're texting and stuff, and then me and Kayla finish up at work. This is in like a residential area, and then we were just like, okay, cool, like, where is this place? It's like this basement suite. It's a house, and then he lived in the basement suite of that, which is like fine, whatever. And then this guy comes up and he opens the gate, and he was just like, Damien's dog is missing. And then we were like, huh, what? And then they were just like, oh, it's a pit bull, like, let's go and try to find this dog. And then me and Kayla are like, okay. So we like spent like half an hour trying to find the piercing guy's dog, and we finally find this dog. And then he was just like, oh, Damien's downstairs getting set up and everything. And then we go into the basement, and this place is like filthy. There's like a bunch of other people in there. There's like 3 dogs and a bunch of cats. There's like empty cans and like all this stuff, and some people, and then there's Damien, and then it's in this guy's kitchen. And we were just like, oh, and I'm like, oh, do you have an autoclave? Me being like a teenager and not really knowing like piercing stuff, but knowing that there's an autoclave, and like autoclaves like sanitize things. But it's okay though, because I just traded a bunch of dilly bars for this piercing. But as long as there's an autoclave, we're all good. I was just like, oh, where's your autoclave? And then he was just like, over there, it's beside the microwave. And I was just like, okay, cool, legit. That's legit. Stupid ass. Like, he like gets her jewelry out of the package. It's shitty jewelry. And like, he doesn't autoclave it because it just comes straight from like, I don't know, somewhere else that's not here. And like a real piercer, they would autoclave all their shit. They would get their like jewelry from reputable places and stuff. And then like, he was just like, yeah, I'm just getting set up. And then we were like kind of following him around like puppies. And then he was just like, yeah, I just did some girl's belly button. It was really cool. It looks really good. And we were like, oh, that's awesome. And then me being like a teeny bopper, I was just like, so what kind of like, what was the coolest piercing that you've done? And then he was like telling me, and he was telling me that he's done surface piercings before, and that they were really cool, and some of those were really dope. And then he was just like, I also pierced my dick. And then I was just like, cool. And he was just like, yeah, I like did it here. I pierced my dick. I almost passed out, and there was like there was a lot of blood, but I pierced it. I almost passed out, but it was like really successful, and it works fine. And we were just like, okay. Very uncomfortable. I am very uncomfortable right now. I am very uncomfortable, but okay, I'm about to get pierced by this guy. So he told us that dick story. I was just like, wow. So trustworthy. I'm gonna stay here and get pierced by you anyways, because that sounds really cool and trustworthy. Hey, Kayla, do you want to go first? And she's like, yep. And then she, like, it's just a simple lip piercing, just like right here. She just got it done. I think she had it for like forever, so hers went fine. So she got her lip pierced, and then he was going to do mine. And I had double, like, 2 surface piercings, just right here and right here. And then I was just like, okay, I'm ready. And he did them, and they looked like shit. every week they would fall out. Like the left one would be a little bit raised. I'm gonna put pictures because they look really bad and the jewelry is really bad. Oh, I think I still have them. Okay, hold on. So this little thingy is my mishmash jewelry box. So I have like some tapers in here that I use for stretching my septum, or like I have a couple of insertion tapers that I use for changing like jewelry in my nose or like anywhere else that has like 18 gauge stuff. And I have my old dermal implants, my old surface piercing jewelry. So every so often these little piercings would fall out and I would go to Damien and get them redone. Every time that I got them redone, I was putting myself in danger. Eventually he put 2 up here and 2 up here. And why? I don't know. They would keep coming out. The one on the left was always, the one on the left was always super raised and like was pierced crooked. He pierced me with a needle. No biopsy punch, nothing else, nothing fancy, just with a needle, and with this shitty piece of jewelry. So, going to see if my camera will focus on this tiny little piece of jewelry. Hello? So, it's like a little steel jewelry. It's like really shitty, and it would always come out. He added me on Facebook, and I was very proud of myself that I was like friends with this cool piercer, local piercer, and I like made this album on Facebook called Shh, and it's just like pictures of my my piercings. I tagged him in it, and yeah, they look terrible because they're raised, and also the one on the left is like super crooked. A few years later in 2012, I got them redone, but at like my regular place. And I got fancy and metal jewelry. And yeah, like when you compare the pieces of jewelry, it's like night and day. This one's like with anodized titanium and it has a pretty gem on the front. But my chest piercings would always kind of like the left one, they both lasted about a year. I took them out in 2013 when I went to the Philippines. And then, yeah, I was done with chest piercings because they didn't work out for me. Surface piercings just didn't work out. They were never really supposed to be permanent, but also you should never get pierced in a guy's basement ever in the first place. But for whatever reason, I thought that was a cool and legit idea. You live and you learn. I'm glad that nothing bad happened to me. I'm glad that me and Kayla were okay. Like, he could have been a really bad guy. I could have gotten a really bad infection. She could have gotten a really bad infection. But we turned out fine, and all I have are these little scars. Yeah, that was my piercing horror story part 1. I have another piercing horror story that happened to me recently. Something to do with my face. And something that traumatized Chris. So, I think I made a vlog about it, and like, but I didn't really go into too much detail. So that'll be a different video altogether. So enjoy. Alright, so if you like this type of video, give me a comment, give me a like, favorite it, if you want to be so kind. It helps with my interaction, especially when you comment on my videos. I really appreciate it. I love like reading your comments and reacting to it. If you have like a horror story that happened to you, like a piercing horror story, let me know. I love reading that kind of thing. If you really like my videos and you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It helps my channel a lot. And remember to click the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I upload or do anything on YouTube. And that also helps with engagement too. Please, I want to be seen on the algorithm. I want to make money, honey. If you've made it up to the end, can you comment with your favorite type of oatmeal, like what your favorite flavor is? Mine is maple sugar instant oatmeal by Quaker. It's pretty delicious. Yeah. All right. See you later. Bye. Ow.